I would gut down the opposition.
This is fun, yes?
Legends of Runeterra is a game about cards. My name's Mike Williams. I'm sitting with a guy who does like cards.
Yes.
Jake Klukowski.
Hello.
Not in a like Las Vegas casino kind of way.
No.
In a much cooler and more enjoyable way.
I like card.
Deck building card games, baby.
Yeah.
Legends of Runeterra. Jake, you've been playing quite a bit of this,
I
haven't you?
certainly have. Yeah, it's the new game by Riot Games, who made League of Legends.
Yep.
Probably one of the most popular games ever. Certainly with people that like to spend a lot of time on the internet. It's a game that requires a lot of skill, but there is a lot of reactive elements to League of Legends. You have to be quick at clicking and reacting to sort of what the enemy's doing.
Bit of muscle memory,
A bit of
physical
muscle memory.
dexterousness.
Yeah, you need to drink Game of Girl
Dexterity.
bathwater, get expensive mice, never wireless, and all that. But turn-based card games, that's just a battle of the mind, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, it's. I've been looking at some gameplay, so I haven't played any of this.
Okay.
Looking at some gameplay. Visually, it's a lot more like a lot more going on. A lot of bit of visual fireworks going on, more than I was expecting. Even though it is a card game, they really have done their best to make it look not like a card game. They've tried to make it look like
Yeah, it doesn't look
League
like
of Legends.
Solitaire on Wednesday.
Yeah, no, it certainly doesn't. Okay, then. So we did talk about this quite a bit in the podcast. This week's podcast, that was episode 66, I think. So have a listen to that or have a watch on YouTube if you want to hear a bit more like context about the game. And, we did talk around the game quite a bit there, I guess, didn't we? But this is more about, hands-on mechanics and stuff and how you've been finding it.
Okay.
So talk us through like a game of, what's your average match? How does it play out?
You start off with a deck of cards, 40 cards, and then the opponent also has exactly the same certain cards in your hand, and then you've got like a nexus, which is from League terminology. It's like your health bar, and it starts off at 20. So you've got 20 health points and your deck. So you play to destroy your opponent's health. That's how you win. That's the win state there, basically, in case you completely new to this sort of thing. It's kind of going up against some really big competitors. This space is pretty much dominated by Hearthstone, like the Blizzard card game that uses all
really
sorts.
long running.
Yeah, and it's like World of Warcraft focused kind of lore behind the cards, and that's ripped off Magic the Gathering, which is like the original, which has kind of had like an online iteration recently, which has seen some popularity. Although there's lots of problems in the sort of the meta, the real life elements behind a lot of these games. Hearthstone and Blizzard have had a really crazy time over the past couple of months with the Blitzchung thing and stuff. But if there's one thing people can expect from Riot Games, it's that they know how to maintain a game. Like League of Legends has been on and on and on and grown and grown and growing, and has more and more viewers every single year, and has done for a long, long time. Without a single sequel, it's just little additions,
game.
balance changes, When it comes to a card game, I think the number one thing is about that sort of thing. If you want a game to last, it needs to be balanced. It needs to have an immediate install base of players, and you need to be able to show that you're reactive to things that are happening in the game. So if somebody creates a really cool deck that everybody online is using, it seems really overpowered, how fast you can react to that will.
Yeah.
The game's just come out into open beta, and it will now stay beta all the way until launch. All the progress will then carry over.
What platform, sorry?
For now, it's just on PC, but it will be coming to mobile in the beta.
Yeah.
And I think consoles on launch.
You can imagine, the card games they translate so well on every platform. Like if it's touchscreen, if it's a gamepad, it doesn't matter, does it?
Exactly.
It works. So you can imagine it'll be everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. I think sort of PC and mobile is definitely the market that they'll take it first, because PC does so well, and then I guess especially like in Asia and things like that, mobile, and also Asia's got a massive influx of esports personalities and stuff like that, and so they want it to be an esport, I'm pretty sure. So the game kind of falls into different categories depending on who you are as a player when it comes to selecting your deck. So this is a bit of a complicated thing to explain if you've never played like a game like this before. You've got different regions, and each region has kind of different flavour of cards. So what I mean is it's almost like a type of building if you were playing an RPG or something like that. So you'll have one region. So Runeterra, by the way, is the place where League of Legends takes place. It's like the world, if you like. And so that world is split up into regions, and each region represents like a type, a class of cards. So whereas you might have like a fire type or whatever in
Yeah.
Pokemon or something like that, you've got specific types of regions in the game. There's 6 regions altogether, and they kind of represent different things. So you might have something like Shadow Isles, which is a realm that kind of focuses on units that are quite weak, but when they die, they might transform. They're very disposable,
Yeah.
pathetic, hyper-aggressive units.
I haven't seen this, but I imagine I'm getting the color purple.
It's like a green. It's like a
Oh.
it's like a toxic kind of color.
Oh, right. Okay, I got you.
Toxic.
You're talking a bit more like poisony.
Yeah, so it's like it kind of works like that. So you're working on kind of overwhelming people early on and
Yeah,
playing like
Skaven.
that. Yeah, that sort of style thing. Exactly. So it's kind of bringing out all these different archetypes. So
Yeah.
it's hard to try and explain it to somebody that's never played it before, but I'm trying. And then you've got like completely other types of decks for other types of players. So if you're not aggressive, you might want to do like that classic like RTS like turtle shell approach that
Yeah.
I know Liam's a fan of, for example, where like you build up units over time, buffing them. So you might have a unit that deals 3 damage and has 3 health, but your next card will buff that. So now
Yeah.
he has 4 and 4, and you're slowly working your way to victory that way, controlling the board. If that's the terminology. Really.
Yeah.
It's really good for new players. But existing card game players will really like this. There's a lot of depth to it.
But you obviously think it's worth your time and worth a bit of excitement, because there's a lot of card games about, it feels like to me. You mentioned a few there, but there's a Warhammer one, I think,
Tons
isn't there?
of them.
And
The Lord of the Rings one. There's
Lord of the Rings,
Elder
yeah.
Scrolls has got one. Duelist actually died this week.
Yeah.
Card game that the servers have gone down, definitely. A lot of people are trying to rival Hearthstone, and I think this is the one to do it. Initial impressions. The game's been out for just under a week. But I did play it in closed beta.
Yeah.
And I've been thinking about it ever since. Really looking forward. Let me in.
Yeah.
Thinking about the different, like, kind of what kind of player I'll be and stuff like that. So the thing that it tackles, it's so exciting, and why I think it's really interesting for people to get into for the first time, is that there's this one problem that's kind of been maybe plaguing is the word, the card game realm, and it's simply a lot of the time the people that win aren't the best players. Well, they are. But if an average Joe with a very good brain, good IQ, strategy player kind of dude comes up and he wants to get into this game and he picks up a little starter deck and he goes and plays, he will get romped by a very, very rich person or maybe not a rich person, but somebody who's certainly put a lot of money, whether they can afford it or not, into lots of packs of cards, because how, think of the Pokemon packs as a kid or whatever, buying loads of cards and unpacking them, or by people who are grinding out decks by playing a lot, getting loads of experience, spending the experience on card packs. Because card games like that have got a lot of random elements to it, a lot of the time you might have to spend a lot of money getting what you want. So there's a big pay-to-win argument about these things, or grind to win. So it's not like chess, where chess is like a real battle of brains, because imagine if it's chess but the person that had the shiniest pieces won. You'd always get beaten by rich kids and shit.
Yeah.
So I have found that this has been combated really well in this game. So first of all, you don't buy packs directly. A lot of the stuff that you buy goes towards vanity items and stuff like that.
Which is a good thing, ultimately, isn't it?
Yeah, and you can kind of pay to get some sort of advantage. Like, you can get shards which can be forged into other cards, but you'll find that, like, you're getting diminishing returns, I think, from that. When it comes to playing the game, you'll play against another player, for example, ranked or not, and if you win, you'll get like 1,000 experience, right? Which will go towards leveling up. You pick a region, like let's say it's the Shadow Isles, like I said, and I select them as my region. At 1,000 points, I'll get towards my kind of progression tree. So it's very similar to how Battle Royale games work these days. Like, they've got season passes, and it'll say after so and so points, you'll unlock this. But you'll get 1,000 points for a win. The next win, you'll get 750 points. Then 500, 250,
Okay.
150. So I'm big into the game. I'm thinking about it all the time. I've got a family. I've got a job. Put the kids to bed. Have a couple of goes. I can, in 4 or 5 games, get the same amount of experience as somebody who's played like 20 games.
Yeah.
And that's great.
Level playing field.
It really is, in a way, because like there's a lot of sweaty 15-year-old boys that are out there grinding this game to death and getting very cross on subreddits saying, oh, I like the game and I'm being punished. And I'm thinking, well, you're playing the game for 12 hours a day and you're just doing this to become the top. You're trying to weasel your way to victory. Where like the playing field is kind of getting leveled by this soft time gate kind
Yeah,
of thing here. There's conversations online about that. That's great now for the first wave of players, but what happens if 6 months in, you or Liam started the game and you can't catch up as quickly because you are hidden behind?
But this is where, you it takes us back to the start of the video in a way, because you were talking about how good they were at keeping, League of Legends interesting and keeping the ball rolling and adapting and reacting to what people are saying. So it could be their intention to have this for now, change that system. It doesn't mean remove it, just change things.
And this is the thing, you'll see some people complaining about League of Legends, maybe online, balance issues, this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, the numbers speak for themselves. The fact that the longevity of its sort of success speaks for itself. It's outshone World of Warcraft, all sorts, whilst being completely free to play. People are crying over spilt milk about it a little bit. It's a completely free game. It's very, very detailed if you want to delve into it, make your own decks. If you kind of are feeling a little bit sheepish, maybe you're a bit new to this sort of thing, there's loads of guides online, there's loads of helpful people that just spend time not just showing you what deck to use, but also explaining what type of player it's good for, why you should use that, at what point to be doing certain things. There's some really good professional esports people like Hearthstone players and stuff like that have moved over and are really helping this sort of first wave. But so, for example, this
him being part of that first kind of wave of people.
It's very good, if anyone's listening and they're playing Runeterra and they kind of are just feeling bemused about my sort of layman's terms here, I'll give you a bit of this that won't make any sense unless you're aware of the game. Seeing all of the new players using Spiderlin Elise decks is funny. They don't know how to handle a control deck, so when you're using a control deck, you just smash out victory. That doesn't make any sense unless you play the game. People are just playing with their heart. They're not, I need to do this, which is a big thing. There's certain givens in card games that happen over time. But to be part of that first wave of a game and to be using your thinking cap
and put 15 hours a day in every day.
Exactly. So at the moment, it does feel more like this sort of chess style thing where when I come up against somebody, it's I feel like we've got an even playing field. I know he hasn't got that much of a better deck than me, because at the moment the deck that I have I think is really good. So I'm going to go into rank this week. I'm feeling very, very good about this.
Very cool, very good. Okay, so that's the Legends of Runeterra, which is free.
Completely free.
On PC. So give it a spin if you're interested in card games. That's what Jake thought. And he sounds like he's going to be playing it loads, which is great for Jake. Let us know what you think about it. If you've been playing it down in the comments, let us know what you think from the outside. Are you interested in it? Have you ever played any card games before? Played League of Legends? Never played a card game, and this has caught your interest just because of the lore and the world that's involved? Let us know down in the comments. We'll see you next time for a podcast, probably. Bye.